what was behind the decree that the Greek put on the Jewish people, then why is it called Hanukkah? Why is it called Hanukkah? Did you ask yourself? Why is that festival called Hanukkah? We know that Sukkot because we build a sukkah. Pesach, Mishum Shepasach, because our father, when he brought the plagues of the firstborn, he passed over the Jewish people, the firstborn of the Jewish people. Purim Milshon Pur. But why Hanukkah? Why did they call it Hanukkah? Did you ask yourself? Then why dafka 8 days? Because if you look, we say that it was enough oil to light for 1 day, nachon? So if it was for 1 day, why do we celebrate 8? Because the miracle, then it's a week. It's not 8 days. You understand the question?
What's the translation of Hanukkah?
That's what we're going to explain. What does Hanukkah mean? Exactly. Then, if we have time, we'll speak a little bit about the candles. We'll see what the candle representing. And then if we have a bit more time even, we'll do some halachot. So בעזרת השם נעשה ונצליח והשם עלינו ברחמיו ירוויח. השיעור יהיה לעילוי נשמת מנחם אריק בן מסעודה ולרפואת מנשה נג'י בן פרחה מרדכי בן רחמה וליאורה בת מרים. So Hanukkah. For sure. Sure. פייג לעילוי נשמת פייגה איתה בת רחמיאל זאב. רחמיאל זאב. נשמתה תהיה צרורה בצור החיים. Okay, so I wish you a long life, Philip. Glenda, we wish you a long life. Okay, so the subject of the shiur is Hanukkah. What do we know about Hanukkah? You know, we all know that we light the candles and we eat donuts. Not what everyone knows. In previous year we explained why do we eat dafka donuts?
Latkes also.
Sorry?
Latkes.
Latkes, it's the same. Scam, it's all in oil because it's in oil. But I'm going to start with the history of Hanukkah. In the year 3221 for the creation, that's mean 2158 years ago, during the time of the Second Temple, Rabotai, focus with me, the Greek Empire was in control of most of the world. Israel was underneath their control. And they put certain decrees on the Jewish people. The coup, the revolution, whatever you want to call it, started. You know who started the coup? Who started the revolution? A woman. A woman. Why? And why? The lady here is smiling. But I'll explain why. And that's why, by the way, there is mitzvot she'azman geramam. That means there is certain mitzvot that it's time-bounding. Women not obligated for it. But this mitzvah, women also obligated. Why? Because of that. Because there wasn't the same mirror. The coup started with the daughter of Matityahu Yohanan Gadol. Matityahu was that Kohen Gadol in that time, during the Second Temple. His daughter was supposed to get married. And the night before she get married, it was a decree by the Greek that she had to spend the night with the mayor. Every woman, before she get married, she have to spend the night with the mayor. No, all women. It's happened. Where do we hear that? We learned that from Betuel. Betuel was a mayor. And the night before, it was a custom that, the same custom, he started it. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu killed Betuel, the father of Rivka, that he's not going to do it to Rivka. That Rivka doesn't have to spend the night with her father. We explained that. Why did they call him Betuel? So the night before that she has to go to the mayor, the family from the Kohen Gadol, Matityahu. Matityahu had 4 sons and 1 daughter. That was 4 Kohanim and 1 daughter. Hashmonai, it was a different man. Hashmonai was a very important man. Him and his kids was 12. And obviously they came together, the family need to speak, whatever they have to do before the wedding. And while they was talking, the parents, the bride stood up and she clapped hands. Everyone suddenly got shocked. So, what's happening here? Everyone got quiet. The next thing, the daughter of Matityahu Kohen Gadol start tearing her clothes. Rabot, are you listening? Start tearing her clothes. Her brother immediately stood up and asked, what's happening here? What are you doing? Aren't you embarrassed? She answered them, I should be embarrassed or you should be embarrassed. Tomorrow night, I'm going to be led to the mayor to spend the night with him. How many more women have to suffer like this? When they heard that, they all looked at Matityahu, her father. Immediately Matityahu, that was old man in that time, stood up and he took his sword and he said, Mila Hashem Elai. Who is for the Almighty will join me. And he took his sword. The following morning, he gone to Bet HaMikdash. And when he came, the Greek said to him, what are you doing here? He said, I come to sacrifice. He said, sacrifice for who? He said, for your God. Oh, let us call all the nations. He said, no. People will kill me if I'll do that. Let me do it hush, quietly. They didn't see that inside his long coat, he had a sword. When he gone to sacrifice, he saw a Jewish person that changed his religion and become a Greek. And he brought, not less, a pork to slaughter on an altar. Yohanan Gadol, Matityahu, Kohen Gadol, was so angry. Why must I say Yohanan Gadol? Because Matityahu was the grandson of Yohanan Gadol, Kohen Gadol. Sorry, the son of Yohanan Kohen Gadol. I'm making a mistake. So Matityahu took the sword, and with the sword, he stabbed that Jewish person that wanted to slaughter a pig on an altar. And a miracle happened that the sword penetrating the body and came outside the body. And he stabbed who? The pork, the pig. And both of the blood got mixed. And that's how the coup started. And that day they killed 700 people. And that's how the coup started, because a woman. So when people ask you what is Hanukkah, you know how it started. When is it happen? It happened during the time of the Second Temple, before the destruction. Many people think it was during the destruction. It was during the Second Temple. Any question? No.
What's the name of the
Sorry?
woman? What is the name of the woman?
The daughter.
His daughter, yeah.
Some people say that it was Yehudit. I'm not sure if it was. I'm not sure. Okay? So, how many people start the coup? We say 17. Matityahu and his 4 sons is 5. You remember? Hashmonai was 12. Together, 17. 17 people started the coup against the Greek Empire. Imagine 17 of us, untrained, going to fight the strongest army in the world. Doesn't make sense. But that's exactly it. That's what Hanukkah is about. All about miracle. Doesn't make sense. 17 people started the coup. After that day, more people joined them. The Midrash say. And that's what we say in the tefillah that we're adding up. In Hanukkah we're adding ala nisim. There we say, Masarta giburim beyad halashim. That means that you're given strong people in the hand of a weak. Rabim beyad me'atim. Many in the hand of few. 17 people started the coup. That was the history, how Hanukkah started. Now if I ask all of you, how many years this story happened? Many people will say it was overnight or over a few weeks. No. The story of Hanukkah took 3 years. Not what it seems, what people tell you that it happened after. It sounds like that. They've gone to the war, they win, it's finished. 3 years that coup, that revolution took, until the Kohen Gadol that died earlier quite, that means the Kohanim and the Hashmonaim managed to get rid of the Greek Empire and to kick him out from Eretz Israel. You follow? Any question? No, let's continue. Many of us think that the wicked Greek Empire wanted to kill, to destroy the Jewish people. It was not at all like that. That wasn't the decree. That was not the decree at all. The Greek didn't want to kill us. The Greek didn't want to destroy us like Haman HaRasha. The Greek put 3 different decrees on the Jewish people. And the decree was like this. Is number 1, not to keep the Shabbos, and we'll explain that. Number 2, not to do Brit Milah, circumcision. Number 3 is not to count the Chodesh. That means not to do Birkata Levana. That you will never know when the Jewish festival is going to fall. Shabbat and Brit Milah, we all know that that's the sign between a Jewish person and the Almighty. And that's why on Shabbat a Jewish person doesn't put tefillin, because we have 2 signs. Shabbat, that's number 1 that we have, that's very important to us, and the Brit Milah. And all the idea that the Greek wanted, that the Jewish people will forget the Torah, they forget their mitzvot, they forget their festivals. By that they're going to forget the Jewish festival, they're going to forget their identity. And if they forget their identity, nothing left of the Jewish people. By the way, there is a book that's called the Intifada. Everyone know here what is Intifada? Glenda, no? You know what is Intifada? Anyone? Intifada, that's when the Palestinian, they call them Palestinian, I think that they call Muslim, as far as I'm concerned, Palestinian. That's when they started with all the trouble. You know how it started? I mentioned that many times. It started on Pesach. On Pesach, listen to that, in an Israeli jail. One of the leaders of the PLO was inside the jail. And while he was in the jail, one of the Jewish officer, or Israeli officer, that was working in the jail, was there, and it was during Pesach, and he saw that Muslim guy saw that officer eating a pita. Everyone know what is pita, obviously, in Pesach. And he said to him, tell me, I don't understand. Isn't that your festival that you're not allowed to eat bread? He said, yes. He said, well, aren't you keeping that festival? He said, those festivals happened thousands of years ago. I'm not interested. That terrorist heard that, gone to his cabin, he wrote it down. And he said, I was lying in my bed, and I said to myself, a nation that have no connection to their identity, they can win the war. We're going to win that war. Because he was decided, that's it, I'm leaving the crime. Sorry, I'm leaving terrorism. Because one Jewish person, lo alenu, how many people got murdered? And that's what the Greek wanted to do to us. Now, we all know that the festival of Hanukkah, it's not a decree from the Torah, nachon? You agree with me? No, it doesn't mention in the Torah. That's what we think. But today I'm going to prove differently. There is a hint to the festival of Hanukkah from the Torah. From the book of Sefer Bereshit. When do we celebrate Hanukkah festival? 25th of Kislev. The 25th of Kislev, נכון? Kafhei Kislev. 25th, Kafhei is 25th. If we count from the beginning of Sefer Bereshit, 25 words, the 25 words exactly gonna be Or. Vayera Elohim et haor ki tov. The word Or is number 25 from the beginning. The Mefarshim explain, here we see that the Torah tells us that on the 25th of Kislev will be light to the Jewish people. And that's why on Hanukkah we're not allowed to mourn, we're not allowed to grieve. We're not allowed to show any pain, any sadness, any sorry. We should be besimcha on that festival. So here is a hint to us from the Sefer Torah. Why is it called Hanukkah? We ask, nachon? If we take the word Hanukkah, I'm going to bring two ideas. There's many more. I'm just going to bring two. I'm going to bring what's been written by Rabbi Yaakov Baal HaTurim. Rabbi Yaakov Baal HaTurim, born in the city of Frankfurt in Germany. He was a Yeker. Huh? He wrote a commentary on all the Shulchan Aruch, Arba Turim. Okay? Sorry, before the Shulchan Aruch. He born close to 770 years ago. And he explained like this. If you take the word Hanukkah, how do you write Hanukkah? Het, Nun, Vav, Kaf, Hey. Remember 5 words. Divided to a half. The first word that you get is Hanu, rest. The second word that you get, Kaf, Hey. That means that the Jewish people rested from the Greek Empire on the 25th of Kislev. Do you understand? Hanu is rest. 25th is the 25th of Kislev, that's Kaf Hey, to tell us that the Jewish people rested from the Greek, from the decree on the 25th of Kislev. That's the two. The Maharsha, you all hear the word Maharsha. Who was Maharsha, you know? Rabbi Shmuel Idlish. Rabbi Shmuel Idlish. Idlish is a woman name. You know why they call him Idlish? Because his mother-in-law, by the way, he born in Poland, in the city of Krakow. He born 463 years ago. His mother-in-law was a very rich lady. She was a midwife. One day I'll tell the story about her. And she have a big business. And she said to him, you open a yeshiva. I will make sure that I'll finance you. But beside that, lunchtime, she must make for her son-in-law. No one will make lunch to her son-in-law. So he said from now on, he took on himself because she looked after him so much. he adopted her name as a surname, Idlish, Idol, you know? So the Maharsha say like this. The Maharsha say, if you look, there's a Gemara in Masechet Shabbat, that's where he speak about Hanukkah. In page 21, folio 2, he said, you know why is it called Hanukkah? Because on the 25th of Kislev, the Jewish people inaugurate the altar. Why? Because they get rid of all the Greek, and now they can bring sacrifices. So he said that's why it's called Hanukkah. So now we see why is it called Hanukkah, two ideas. Because that's when they in Hanukkat HaMizbeach. You follow? Inaugurate the altar. You call it in English. Any question before I continue? Now, we ask the famous question, why 8 days? Because when they managed to chase the Greek, they found a small jar that was sealed with a stamp of the Kohen Gadol. And they can use the oil, the olive oil that was on it, to light the menorah. And that oil was enough for 1 day, we said. Why do we celebrate 8?
Nice.
Huh? But the nes was for 7 days. Look, we say for 1 day. You agree with me? The rest of the 7, that was the miracle. So we should celebrate 7 days, not 8 days. Do you understand my question? Any answers, Rabotai? I need answers. I need help.
Because the oil lasts 9 days. The oil that was supposed to last for 1 day lasts 8 days.
Yeah. But the oil was supposed to last for 1 day.
Yes,
But still, why? If the oil is for 1 day from the 8, I should celebrate 7, not 8. Do you understand my question? Yes, Philip.
But every day they had to clean the menorah out and add in oil. So they put one little bit each day, and each day they had to put
Okay.
enough to spread it out. for
So
8 days.
Philip brought different idea. There's many, but I'll tell you what Philip said. Philip said that every day they used to clean the menorah. And they used to put a little bit. So they put enough for that day, for that little one. But miracle happened that they got full and they lost it. All of them. You understand? All the menorah. But let me explain like this. I'm going to start with Marana Bet Yosef, because that's the famous question that Marana Bet Yosef asked. Marana Bet Yosef, you all know it's Rabbi Yosef Karo. He wrote the Shulchan Aruch. That's why we call him Marana Bet Yosef. And he born in Spain on the city of Toledo. He born 530 years ago. And he said like this. He said, you know why it's 8 days? It's that where was they collecting oil for the menorah to Bet HaMikdash? You know where? In the north. In a portion of Asher. Asher, he took his heritage when they divide the land of Israel after they penetrate, it was in the north. And only in the north they have the olive tree. So from Yerushalayim to go to the north, it takes 3 days walking. You understand? 1 day,
Shops.
1 day to make the oil. 3 days to go back. How many we come? 7, nachon? Plus the 1 day that they light, it was 8 days. It's all together, it was 8 days. That's one idea. The other idea, what was the decree of the Greek? Remember, we brought 3 ideas. One was Shabbat. Sorry? Brit Milah. Birkat HaChodesh. I saw a beautiful commentary, and I want to share it with you. When do we do Brit Milah, and what day? Bayom HaShmini, nachon? On the 8 days. Hazal tell us, we're going to light the menorah dafka on the 8 days. Why? Because one of the decree that they was putting emphasis into it, it was a Brit Milah. When do we celebrate Brit Milah? On 8 days? You'll celebrate 8 days of lightning to show the Greek that they couldn't win us. There is a story that during the time of the Greek, one of the decree, like we mentioned, was a Brit Milah. And a Jewish woman have a child. And on 8 days, she given him a Brit. And the Greek found out. And they ran after her. She climbed up to the top of her roof. And she stood up with the baby while the soldier marching to kill her because the punishment was dead, whoever going to do Brit Milah. And she said to them like this: you not going to stop us from doing Brit Milah. We as Jews, this is a mitzvah that we got from Avraham Avinu, and we're not going to stop. And she jumped and she died. She and a baby. Hazal say. And a midrash. So from here we see the strength of a woman. Number one, who started the coup? Woman. Who encouraged the man to continue? Woman. We see the power of a woman. And that's why we celebrate 8 days, to show the Greek that they can't win us. Today I read, I'd like to share it with you. It's nothing have to do with show, but I want to share it with you. It was a quote of one of the terrorists that 4 years ago, stabbed 2015, 3 years ago. He stabbed Israeli guy, and he made them cripple. And they put him in jail. Today it was the court. What's going to happen with him, the verdict. And they brought that Jewish guy. And he walked into the court, and he stood in the front of that terrorist. And he said to him like this: you are from the evil forces. I win you. You wanted to kill me. I'm here to show you that you can't get rid of us. You from the evil forces. We are from the good. And he left. Rabotai, to tell us something. We are the immortal nation. Nachon that they want to kill us. Nachon they want to get rid of us. They're not going to succeed. We have a promise. HaKadosh Baruch Hu promised us that He's going to be with us wherever He will go. Wherever we will go. Now, would you mind another few minutes? Let's speak about the candles. What does candle mean? In Hebrew it's called nerot, nachon? Everyone know. How do you write nerot? Nun, vav. You agree with me? Nun resh. Vav, tav. Sherkoach, Philip. I was thinking that no one listening, but you do. If we twist the word, the letters around, what we will get? Vatran. What it means, Vatran? I mentioned that on Shabbos. Vatran is a person that lenient. He give up. He doesn't mind. Hazal tell us something very important. Rabotai, listen to it. Lady also, please listen to it. Especially the men. That during the 8 days of Hanukkah, a person should give up. If there is something, the food is not ready. You ask the wife to do something. She forgot. Don't be so strict, especially on Hanukkah. Ladies, you ask the husband to bring something home and he forgets. Don't be so aggressive. Hanukkah is the time liot vatran. Vatran is to give up. You are 100% right. I send you messages. I send you WhatsApp. Yes, you're right. Smile. And Hazal tell us that if you're happy during all of those 8 days of Hanukkah, all the rest of the year you're going to be happy. You don't want to be happy? Who doesn't want to be happy? To smile. Be'ezrat Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will always make us happy, will smile to us, and send us Mashiach Tzidkenu b'mera b'yameinu, amen, ken yeh ratzon.